Hello guys, Lee from Inner Peak. This video is all about how to complete your 8-week program in your Personal Trainer 3 qualification. It's quite a difficult process to put this together for new students, so we're going to do a little walkthrough video to explain it a little bit more in depth. Now you can see on the screen here, the first thing you've got in front of you is an 8-week program overview. So this is just going to summarize basically what you've decided to put together for your client, and it'll include things like your 8-week muscle building plan. So this might not be the goal. It might be that the goal over the 8 weeks is to lose weight or to increase endurance, but on this particular example we've got the goal as muscle building or hypertrophy, and how many times a week you're going to be training with your client, what sort of weight you're going to be lifting in the gym. So for hypertrophy, it would be 75% of the 1 rep max for your client. Progress, more reps each week. So there's lots of different ways of increasing the intensity throughout the weeks as you go along from week 1 to week 8. And normally in the industry, the easiest way to do that would be just add more weight to the sets that they're doing each week. So, and you want to make it really small increments. So even if you went up by 1.25 kilograms, for example, on week 2 on a particular exercise, that would be enough to add a progressive overload, to add more stimulus to make the exercise harder. But as you'll have known from Gym Instructor 2, or even just reading through the theory on the Personal Trainer 3, the common way we use to increase intensity is to use the FIT principles. And if you remember what that stands for, it's frequency, intensity, time, or type. So those variables can be used to manipulate the progressive overload, which is something you've got to demonstrate throughout the 8 weeks. So in this example, we've just chosen reps. So say, for example, on week 8, we looked at with a client, we're going to do 8 reps per exercise. Then on week 2, we're going to do 9 reps per exercise. And week 3, we just keep going up and up. So you can see here, we've got a week by week plan, weeks 1 to 3, building strength and stamina, and just a few key points for your client to look at. So remember, this is just something they can pick up and have a little idea about what's going to be going on. On your 8-week program, there are 2 deload weeks, okay, or 2 regression weeks where you'll actually come down in the intensity. It's the only 2 times that you do come down. The rest, so week 1 to 3, you're going to be rising in intensity, and then week 5 to week 7, you're going to be rising. So week 4 and week 8 are deload weeks, so you make the intensity easier. And the reason we do that is just to allow the body to recover and rest. And during that recovery and that rest period, that's when all the muscle building will take place, and all the joints and the ligaments and the tendons can all have a little bit of a rest and recuperate. So that the idea is when you come back for week 5 is that you've built a better base, you're strong and you're fresh and you're ready to go. Otherwise, if you just keep increasing every week, what happens is your client will eventually start to reach a plateau. They'll just stop improving. And when one skill of a PT is to realize when that does start to happen, because it will vary with different clients. Obviously, clients at different fitness levels, different endurance levels, and age plays a part, and nutrition and things like that. So recognizing when the client's just starting to plateau, or even if they're starting to overtrain, factoring in a deload week or a regression week is a good way to allow your client that little bit of rest so they can recover. So on the deload weeks, you're lifting lighter weights, up to 50% less sometimes, not always, but that'll depend on the client's progress. Do fewer reps, let your muscles recover, and then back in the saddle again, weeks 5 to 7, pushing hard. Keep adding reps each week. If it's too easy, add some more weight. So, you know, again, a good PT will be really monitoring where the client's at to get the most out of each workout. Week 8 is going to be the final deload week, and then you're looking at lifting lighter again, stretch and recover, and a few key points for your client to remember. Now, it doesn't have to be drink water, eat protein, etc., etc. It'll be whatever you identified on your client interview. So if it was your clients eating too much sugar, you know, you might put in here, just remember about your sugar intake, just a few key things to help them remember. So this is just a blanket kind of exercise just to show you guys what an 8-week program can look like. Now, you don't have to use our templates. You can put your own together. But if you want to use our templates, we do give you a blank template at the start of the course, and then you can look at using this as an example to fill out your own. So as we spoke about on the personal trainer level 3 part 2 video, you have to select a certain amount of systems, resistance systems for your workout. So in this example, we've chosen 1, 2, 3, 4 resistance methods, and we've chosen 2 CV methods. So the first method we've chosen is a tricep, which is 3 exercises back to back with no rest. And we've gone for a squat, so we've started with legs, then a leg press, then a calf raise. We've gone for 2 sets, 8 reps to start on week 1, 1 minute rest, and it's 75% of the 1 rep max, which you can see there, that's what that stands for. In this box here, we've got some coaching notes just explaining how to do these 3 exercises. So even if you just put 1 or 2 specific key coaching points, so in here you can see we've got straight back, drive through the heels, flat back for the squat, and then for the leg press, we've got don't lock out the knees, you know, due to the full extension, which is very dangerous. Feet evenly spread on the pad. And then for the calf raise, as you can see, all the 3 exercises are demonstrated here. The calf raise up onto toes, hold and squeeze at the top. So just a few key points in there. For the second system, we've gone for a superset, 2 exercises back to back with no rest. And this time we've gone for shoulders, so a push exercise, shoulder press, front raise. Again, 2 sets, 8 reps, 1 minute rest, 75% 1 rep max. Coaching points in there, and again, you can draw the exercises in here just to give a visual demonstration to your clients of what that exercise might look like. And then, as you can see, we're just filling the rest out. So we've gone for negatives this time. Lat pull down, so we're doing a pull exercise, we're working back now. Again, same set, same reps, all the same, different, obviously different coaching notes in there, and again another illustration. Finishing off then with another push exercise, which is bench press, and we've got forced reps in there. Again, same sets, this time we've gone 9 to failure on the forced reps, and 1 minute, 75%, and then obviously again some more coaching points. Now if you can, because the requirements do tell you to put a functional exercise and a core exercise, if you can squeeze that in underneath, maybe here if you've got some space. So for the core exercise, it might just be something like a plank or a sit-up, and again it's same sort of sets and reps. And for the functional exercise, you know, functional exercise is something that kind of mimics lifestyle movements. So things like farmers carry, you know, that you see the strong men doing, they're carrying the heavy weights by the sides and walking as far as they can. That would simulate something like carrying shopping bags. Or burpees, you know, that's another example of a good functional exercise because it simulates people getting up and getting up and off from the ground, which is again is another life movement. So if you can squeeze in here somewhere just a functional and a core exercise, that would be great. And then in the last box here, I've put in 2 cardiovascular systems. So we've gone for LSD and fartlek. Again, these were explained in your Personal Trainer 3 Level 2 video, what these systems actually are. This time we're not going for sets and reps, we're going for time. So on week 1 we've started on 22 minutes and then we've gone for 6 minutes on the fartlek. Again, rest periods, they're not really relevant, and percentage of 1 rep max not really relevant there, but we have got here some coaching notes. So for the LSD part of it, we've gone for 60% of the heart rate max, and then fartlek, obviously that's an interval training type. The heart rate range is going from 50% to up to 85% of heart rate max. So, and another illustration here. So when we move up then to the next week, so we've gone up now onto week 3 we're on. As you can see here now, we've increased the reps, which is what should happen each week. So if we started on 8, then 9, then 10 on week 3, keeping the same rest periods, keeping the same 1 rep max percentages, but obviously we're going up in the times on the CV training as well. So you can see there on week 2 we had 22 minutes and 6 minutes, and then on week 3 24 minutes and 7 minutes. So we're showing that we can demonstrate progressive overload each week. And then week 4, remember, is our deload week. So it's our first rest week. So we'll just click to that. And then you can see week 4 there. We've actually now come down on the reps, all the way down to 7. And we've come back down on the timings again. So 20 minutes this time and 4 minutes. So we've demonstrated clearly that we can come down on the intensity. So moving to week 5, we're going to come back up the reps again. And as you can see here at this point, we've changed just a couple of exercises. You don't have to change all of them, and you can keep the same systems if you want to make it easier. In reality, you might change some of the systems and some of the exercises, but you want to try and keep the key things. So for example, if my client wanted to do a 1 rep max bench press, that was their goal, I'm always going to have a bench press in the program somewhere, because that's what they want to do. So don't just change things for the sake of changing them. But we are considering, week 5, if we do the same exercises and the same systems week in, week out, then your client might get a little bit bored. So just changing it up a little bit can not only keep your client interested, but it just gives the body, the stimulus, something a little bit different to think about, which can be really good for adaptation. Because if you're doing the same things all the time, you're just going to get the same results. So changing it up, working different parts of the body is really good, obviously, for your client. So from week 5 onwards, I've changed a couple of exercises there, but I've kept the same systems. Obviously, the reps are changing again, increasing, and the times are increasing. Moving to week 6, again, reps are going up, times are going up, so we're showing progression. Week 7, this is the peak height of the program now, so we're up to 12 reps, and we're right up to 28 minutes and 9 minutes on the CV. So this is as high as we're going to go throughout the 8-week program. And then, as we mentioned before, week 8 is another rest week or a deload week. So we'll just turn over to week 8, and you can see we've gone right back down to 6 reps and 15 minutes, 4 minutes. So this will give the client again another chance now to rest, recuperate, and grow. It's common if you had this is only a small kind of program for 2 months, but if you had like a 6-month program, say you were programming exercise for an athlete, it might be that their athletics competition was right at the end of the 6 months, and the final week an athlete would just be mostly resting, doing some light stretching, they may be doing some very light training, but that week is all focused about the rest and the recovery. And when they go into competition, they'll be fresh and ready to perform at their optimal best. So that is the 8-week program. Simple as that. You can choose which way you want to increase the progression each week. Like we said, we've used reps in this example, and we've used just simply going up in the time. But it could be that you're stuck at the same reps. It could be that you're stuck at 10 reps each week, and maybe you used rest periods as a way to progress. So it might be that week 1 you started on 2-minute rest. Week 2 you went down to 1 minute 45 rest. Week 3 you went down to 1.5 minute rest. That would make things again much harder. So there's different ways you can manipulate the intensity. And again, it might have been the percentage of 1 rep max that you changed, or it might have been the speed of reps. So there's lots of things to think about, but for the purpose of this, we just chose reps, which is a nice, easy way to track that progression. Hopefully you found that useful, guys. Good luck filling out your own 8-week programs, and thanks for listening.